the stats are the stats, and they're not bad. They're not good. We're running, probably in balanced territory except for houses, and our guys are busy. Robbie's busy. I'm getting lots of calls from her. Bo's busy. I'm getting lots of calls from him. Gavin's busy. I'm not getting any calls from him because he knows what he's doing. But
I see him every day.
Yeah. And then Amir's busy. He's doing lots of business. So, the guys that are working are doing well, and there's nothing to complain about this market. I mean, yeah, you got to work a little harder, but it's out there.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the only formula you can do, right? I mean, I've been in this storm before, not quite the same thing, but when a market shifts, whether it's the flu bug going out or a financial crisis, it's the worker bee who keeps prospecting and talking to people and doing open houses are the ones that are making the deals. Gavin just told me that he's got some buyers from an open house that he did, and they're narrowing it down to the final couple of properties that he looked at. So the business is there. It's a big city, so it's just how many people can you talk to that you're going to find the right person that's interested in either buying or selling. What's money doing, Paul? Is it what I don't understand about our the Bank of Canada rates, they produce this stat where it shows, oh wow, unemployment's here and there, and then the next day it says boom, and it was coming, but they're just going on that one date stamp of time. But I don't know if a rate cut is beneficial yet, or are they smart to hold?
My opinion on it is they shouldn't be so aggressive raising rates to curb inflation. And it causes inflation. I mean, after COVID, 30% of the calculation in the inflation rate was housing costs and supply, and the other 60%, 70% was supply chain issues. So raising rates is a very, very, very old tool, decades old. So right now, especially if there's unemployment, lowering rates helps consumers offset a lot of costs. Groceries, for some reason, are still going up. If even Canadian groceries, don't listen to the news. I mean, if you're watching Western family prices in the grocery store, there's no tariffs on that stuff. So why grocery costs are going up, we don't know. But why increase interest rates to curb people buying groceries so that inflation comes back down? It's not right. So you're right. One thing comes on the news, and they'll use that news as a reason to decide on it, right? The tariff inflation worries me a little bit, but I think there's more downside of the economy to come before that happens, and we should see a drop in rates. But the tone's changing in that for sure.
And how long is it taking for lenders to give quotes for the customers that are applying for mortgages? Are they slow, or are they pretty fast? How many days notice do you need
for pre-approval?
Yeah.
Same day, really. I mean, so the quickness on a file often depends on how quickly a client can get information in. So assuming a client's ready to roll, we get all the information, I can shoot a deal out and get it back with a rate hold 24 hours, sometimes same day. If we're waiting on job letters or information or credit consent, then maybe a bit longer. So that can happen fast. And I know enough of a deal where I can tell the client, and I know what the lender's rate is, so I can tell them the rate's held before a lender gets back to me. So not long at all.
That's good news.
Yeah, so
that's really good news.
I mean, the sentiment is rates are dropping, but fixed rates are not dropping. They got down to the high threes there for a while. They're back up to low fours, and the bond market went up the last 2 days again here. So if anyone's on the fence with purchasing, pre-approvals are pretty important right now to protect that. Every dollar counts, right? And these days, the average mortgage size is a lot bigger than it used to be. So getting 10, 15 basis points off because we pre-approved before rates went up could save thousands and thousands over the term.
We got to start being kind of conscious about pre-sale markets too. There's some projects that are going sideways. Nothing major yet, but you know, I'd hate to be those real estate companies that were paying advances when there's clawbacks, right?
Jesus.
That's I think they're going to figure out how loyal people really are when they gotta kick the money back. So, but so there was one that was just announced today, and we had one deal on it, and we didn't pay out on it. We held it because of the clawback, and that's a good sign for a brokerage to be able to do. Thank you, Doug.
Amir's got a question there.
Okay, what's your question?
Hi, everyone. My question is from sorry, it's a mortgage question from Paul.
Hey.
Hi, Paul. One of my clients just asked me, he's thinking about just picking up an investment property, and he has multiple property in Canada, in Vancouver, BC, and he's thinking maybe if he put less than 20%, the CMHC won't insure his mortgage. Is that correct?
That is correct.
They don't do that anymore, right?
Never did. So yeah, rentals, as a general rule, rentals are 20% down or more, always.
Oh,
so
okay.
CMHC will insure rentals on multi-use or multi-unit buildings 4 and over, which we can do, but that's like someone buying a small 4-plex or apartment building or 8-plex, that sort of thing. So they'll insure that. There's actually a big market for that in investors, but on residential stuff, it's always been 20%. They used to allow second homes. So they would do second homes with, say, 10% down, but we weren't allowed to use rental income in to qualify for that. So the client needed to actually carry both mortgages and show they made enough money for it. But yeah, you can tell your client 20% down is the minimum for a rental property.
Okay. Do they still need to live in the, if they want to live in the temporary for 1 year in the new unit that they're picking up, they can get like 20%, and then after 1 year, they can just move out and then rent that place?
Well, if they're purchasing it with 20% down and calling it a rental now, they don't have to live in it at all?
No. I mean, they just buy it as a, primary residence.
Yeah.
Just get like 10% down payment or 5% down payment, whatever it is, and then after 1 year, they can change their primary residence to somewhere else and then use the second unit that they purchased recently as a rental unit.
Yeah, that's possible to do, depending on how the application looks. And I'll tell you why. People in the last, say, you can't do it as much anymore, but it used to happen where someone would go buy a place and then buy another one and say they're going to live in it and not do that, and then buy another one and say they're going to live in it. So CMHC and the lender looks at that stuff pretty closely. I just had someone last week that owned a nice big house in Coquitlam, and they wanted to buy a 2-bedroom condo. And we had the same conversation, and they said, well, we were going to live in it. And I said, the lender's probably not going to believe you. And I have to be careful on how I submit that file, because I don't want to look like I'm trying to make it up either. But definitely there are cases where people are legitimately moving into the property and it makes sense, and they will do that stuff. But the big picture will sort of tell the story on whether the lender.
There's no shortcuts in this business. You be honest in your application and you do it. Otherwise, you as the purchaser will be responsible and have to deal with the consequences, and so will that professional that's pushing the paper through, right?
It all comes, the customer never gets in trouble. It's always the broker's fault.
Yeah, so
we ought to have known what was going on. Back in the day, before they were reporting mortgages to the credit bureau, and sort of before lenders kind of caught on, there were people that were buying 10, 15, 20 units. So every 6 months, they would just go to a new lender saying we're buying, and they weren't even disclosing their properties. So of course that all came out, and they know what they're looking at now. Not to say I was involved in that stuff, but it was happening, especially now.
Yeah, we don't touch that shit.
Okay.
Doug, what about your stats? You got some bricks that you want to talk about, or?
Yeah,
Thanks,
well,
Paul.
I got a video and I got, you know, the real estate board stats. We can talk about that. Do you want me to go ahead with that or?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, we'll start with, they have a little video from the real estate board. We'll start with that, I guess. Let me go to my Zoom and share with you guys. I think you have to sign in or something here, Mike. I don't have, do you have, am I a co-host? Because I don't have my, my normal, oh, here I got it now. Hang on, hang on. Okay, I think it's this one here. That, what happened?
It's spinning.
Okay, let me get back to that one. There we go. That big. Go.
May saw inventory levels across Metro Vancouver reach another 10-year high, while home sales registered on the MLS remain muted. Let's take a closer look. Realtors registered 2,228 home sales on the MLS in May, a 19% decrease over this time last year. This is 31% below the 10-year seasonal average. On the supply side, sellers listed 6,620 homes on the MLS in May, a 4% increase compared to May 2024, 9% above the 10-year average. The month ended with around 17,100 homes listed for sale across the region on the MLS, which is 46% above the seasonal average for the month. With some of the healthiest levels of inventory seen in years, many sellers are adjusting price expectation, which has provided buyers with more negotiating room. We can measure this through the sales to active listings ratio. This ratio measures the homes available for sale against the number of homes sold throughout the month to get an idea of supply and demand. Analysis of historical data suggests downward pressure on home prices occurs when this ratio dips below 12% for a sustained period. Home prices often experience upward pressure when it surpasses 20% over several months. The market overall stands in balanced condition. May ended with this ratio at 13% for all homes. By property type, the ratio is 10% for detached homes, 17% for attached, and 15% for apartments. Looking at prices, the MLS HPI benchmark price for all housing types in Metro Vancouver in May sits at $1,177,000. This is a 3% decrease from this time last year. By property type, detached homes reached a benchmark price of $1,997,000, townhomes reached $1,106,000, and apartments reached $757,000. So what's next for the Metro Vancouver housing market? So far this year, home sales are among the slowest in the past decade, closely mirroring the trends seen in 2019 and 2020. Looking at historical patterns, sales rebounded significantly in the latter half of 2020. Whether sales in 2025 might follow a similar pattern remains the million-dollar question. For further housing market information, go to the Market Watch section of our website.
So I got that, and you know, I mean, it's still a balanced market for the most part, guys. So you know, back in the day, that was the way it was. I mean, you can almost it's better for realtors because we know what the prices are, and it's easier to work with. What I've been seeing with you guys is there's a whole lot of offers coming in with subject to sale. And Robbie, we were working on a couple of. How are you doing with your deal? What's going on with your deal there? You're really busy. You got a couple of listings, some sales. You're doing showings. I don't know what's going on with you. Tell me what's happening. Can you talk? Can you walk and talk?
There we go. You hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I actually just had it going at my listing again, which we received an offer on last night. So I have two listings in the same building. A 2-bedroom was on the market for 2.5 months. Then we received an offer, negotiated that out. I got it accepted. Now it's just in the final stages of subject removal. the buyer has removed their subjects, but the seller has a subject to remove. So that's going ahead nicely. And now we have an offer on our studio apartment, and we're just seeing how we can basically, there's been a little pushback, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, not really sure what to say.
Well, you're busy,
Oh,
you're running
I
your
have
legs
three
off, so
showings
that's
this
good.
week for that studio as well. So, and one thing too is I prepared my client for a long haul, or possibly 6 months or more to sell, just in case the studios downtown are there's a lot of listings, and so only 35 days on market, received an offer. But that's the realtor strategy, saying it's been on the market a long time, and I'm trying to tell them this isn't a long time, and we're price sharp.
Well, I think, like they say in the video there, that sellers are starting to adjust to the new markets.
Yes. Well, my client did want to go higher in the list price, and market was, and I feel like we're not overpriced at all. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's the stats are the stats, and those are the overall stats that we've always said. And then Doug, we've all got to pay attention to these stats are all in from 08, 09, the pandemic, the financial crisis. So this is a whole different type of 10-year stat that we're dealing with. And maybe we should dig in deep if we can go in over the 20-year stat just to see what a longer term is. It might shed some more light on it, but our market keeps growing, more populations coming in, there's more buyers, there's more sellers, and the people like Robbie out there just got to keep doing their job to find the customers that are needing of services, whether immediate service or 5 years down the road. That's the Robbie's job, is to find people, make relationships, and do her job, right? And she's doing great.
Yeah, well, yeah, also Amir's been doing really good. Amir, tell us a little bit. You've got a couple of deals that you popped in there pretty quick there, and what's going on with you in your business?
I'm just calling every day to lots of new people, meet lots of people at my open houses, follow up the days after. And I have like 6-7 active buyer at the moment. But
How did you get those 6 or 7 active buyers, Amir?
Mostly at the open house.
And whose open house have you been going to? Rhiannon's or anybody?
300 only 1 or 2 times. I go to Tanya, Renee, Sunny, and everybody, whoever has
Good.
a listing.
Good.
And basically, I just started, calling some leads recently. I got some leads from one of my friends, and that actually, works very well too.
Yeah, you're doing well there. Yeah, keep it up, Amir. You're really good picking up those deals. Same with you, Gavin. How are you getting your business?
Yeah, mostly referrals from past clients, and then also going to open houses. Like Mike was saying, there's a client that we picked up at open houses, and yeah, so you just keep following up, like Amir is doing, like Robbie is doing, and just hopefully we can nurture them. Maybe not immediately to buy something, but a year or 2 year down the road. Yep.
All pays off. Yeah. So it's all hard work now and laying the groundwork for future success. I invited Bo in here too, another new realtor with us, and he's doing very, very well. He's got some tough properties that we're working on with him, and he had a property out in Langley, which was it was listed on 2 or 3 times prior to him, and couldn't sell it for about a year and a half. I think they had it on for a couple of years. Bo picked it up, and him and I talked about it and doing a CMA on it, and we talked about pricing it, and we told them, basically they wanted, I don't know, 2.1, and we kind of came in at about 1.9, 1.8 in that neighborhood there, and if we were going to go high on that, you know, wasn't going to happen. Now, apparently he's getting his front teeth fixed. I guess he was in the hockey game last night. I don't know. He's like me. I don't know.
No. Oh, wow.
We'll see. He's coming. He's supposed to be here at 10:30. He's at the dentist right now, so he's going to try and make it in and give us his little thing. But I thought I'd kind of bring you up to speed on that. But ultimately, he sold that property, and I think it went for $1.8 million, and it was on the low side of whatever. But that's what we had been telling the woman, you know, again and again and again, and we had to, you know, present her with CMAs and comparables and all that kind of stuff. And it all comes down to sharpening your pencil and you know, sellers adjusting to the new reality that it's kind of especially in houses, you know, it's a buyer's market, and you know, we're at 10% of the units listed are selling, so it really is. And even as far as Amir Khan, not Amir Imrani, but we had talked about one of his properties, and we put a bonus on that one, and he took the bonus off, relisted at a lower price, and Mike half with that one. And anyway, the bonus sold it is what I'll just leave it at that. I'm not going to say more about that one, but you know, he put a $5,000 bonus on a realtor to bring the offer, and they brought the offer and it sold, and the guy accepted it. So again, you know, they were fighting with their seller about the pricing and all that, and he told them, look, you know, take it while you can, because we don't know how the market's going to last. So it's all about that kind of you know, sharpening your pencil with your owners and going from there. I do have more stats on that, Mike. If you want me to continue on here, I'll kind of share something else.
Absolutely.
So what I did, I've been kind of digging around. We got kind of cut off of our SnapStats. Let me see here. Get my screen up. It's not that one. Close that one off. I'll get, here we go. So I'll share that now. So if you want to look a little deeper and you want to get those stats that are very similar to SnapStats. Now, SnapStats is a perfectly good publication, guys. It costs $17 a month, and you get your name on it, and you can share it with your clients, do whatever you want with it. So it's very similar to this, but let me just look. This is the actual one from the board, and you can embed it in your embed your report into your website. Now I'm trying to do that, and the really good news this morning that I found is that when I went on to my website, and I'm sorry, just looking at messages from Renee and all that. She can't make it this morning. She's going to talk about becoming a property manager, rental manager kind of thing, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But what you can do is embed this into your website. Now, what I did is when I tried to embed that into my Century 21 website, couldn't do it. So I sent a message to the help desk at Century 21, the guys that run the websites, and they got right back to me, and they sent me an information page of how to, this is what it looks like when you embed it on your website. So you can get this whole thing embedded. What have we got here? 5 of 5. I can go, which ones was I looking at here? I kind of, here's what I was looking at. I thought I highlighted this before, but I've been working on a lot of pages here, but this is the one that looks very similar to the SnapStats. So if I wanted to highlight Kitsilano, I could go like that, and then I can highlight it, I think. And I can start, you know, looking at what areas I want. If I want to look at the sweet spot here, I'm looking at probably anywhere from 900 to 1,000,000 for, oh, this is townhomes. Let me go up one. It also has, here's the one I did. I did the condo report one. So if you want to send this to your client, or you want to embed it in your website, or embed it in your website and send it to your client, this is all free. This comes through the Vancouver or the real estate board going forward. So Cole Harbor, downtown, False Creek, all these I had already highlighted. It doesn't have the sales to active ratio, but it has the number of sales, and you can figure out, divide the number of sales divided by the number of listings, and you're going to get your sales to active ratio. So I don't know, you got 69 of 546 or something like that. It's pretty small here. I got to make that bigger, but can you guys even see that? If I can't see it, you probably can't either.
Pretty small, but we get the point.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. I think it's the point here. So you can download this PDF version. You can highlight it. You can embed it in your website. Our C21 websites have help desk, and I'll just show you what came of that if I can find it. Here it is. Here, this is the directions they sent me to this web page here, and it's the help desk sent me here. And how, the question was, how do I embed code on my website? And code on a single page, it says it right there, and how to do it. And I'll have to go through that when I get time, because I didn't have time this morning. But what the point there is that our website, along with the real estate board, there's a lot of really good information there if you take the time to learn how to use it and how to embed these codes into your website. And what it comes out as, it becomes interactive, meaning that it continually updates itself. So if you embed that into your website and you have that as a separate page, it'll continuously update in June, July, August, September, October as time goes on, and you can refer clients to whatever you want. So make a note of that, and do use your website, and do use the help. It works very, very well.
That's a great idea, Doug, and we'll get Anjali to put together a simple tutorial on how to do it, because it sounds like it's just do the effort once, and you've got the stats on that page that you choose forever.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I did that with head office once, Mike, when they asked for the stats. And I sent them all the links that were interactive. So they updated all the years. So I didn't have to send it to head office every month. They could just look at the thing and it would update itself every month. So those kind of little tricks are really good. And it gives you information to put out to your clients and share with them. The other thing I wanted to kind of touch on today is property management. That seems to be taking off in kind of a big way. Just trying to find all my research on that. I had a really good page on that. This is it here. I'm getting a lot of questions on what we can and can't do as realtors. We got realtors and property managers. Most of us are licensed as just realtors. So can a realtor help do property management? They can do tenant placement, but they can't do everything. So I'll send everybody a copy of this thing here. I found this online. It's really, really good. Services you can and cannot provide. And if you roll down it here, I'm just going to make this smaller because I made everything real big. So as a realtor, can I help a landlord find tenants? Yes, you can. You can advertise rental property. You can put it on MLS. And by the way, I am a property manager. I got a new property to list as a manager. I put it on the MLS. It went through into, where did you share it on? Where did you get it, Gavin? Gavin and a bunch of our guys shared it for me. The rental, what did you get it on? What's that called? How did you know I had a rental, Gavin? When you shared it on, Instagram.
Like the rental one, I think it's Back at You. Back at You is doing a lot of those work in the back end. I think
I didn't do anything, and I didn't do it. I put it on the MLS. That's all I did.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, Chris, I follow you guys on Instagram. All of a sudden, Chris Mangione advertised my rental. Gavin put it up there and advertised on his thing. I didn't do a darn thing. So I had to figure out, well, how the hell did that happen?
That came from Back at You Media, Doug, because we register your membership number to the app, and anytime you get a listing or a sale, the app will post it. The apps mostly post generic content, but when you get listings and sales, there's a brilliant feature that it automatically posts, and then everybody in our office, if they hit accept on their settings and back at you media. Anytime anybody in the office gets a listing that goes to the board, we all get it on our social media. It's brilliant. It's the app has just matured so well over the last couple of years.
Yeah, and Mike, I was really impressed. I have this little rental and I didn't know what the hell to do with it. And I told my buddy, even though I'm a managing broker for property rentals, I don't really do property rentals. This is my kind of first. So getting into it and getting my hands dirty here, it was really fun to see you guys promoting it for me. I was thinking, how am I going to promote this thing? And I put it on Facebook Marketplace and all that, and going to go a few other places. But when it started popping up on Instagram on your feeds, I was really excited about that. So the couple of things here with our websites and back at you media and all that other stuff, Century 21 still really doing a really great job for us, and happy to be Century 21 and happy to have the support behind us for all these different things, because I'm not a great computer person, and when that started popping up on everybody else's feed, I was quite impressed with that. So I'm going to push that a little bit more and get into my website a little bit more, and trying to get all that out there. These are the kind of things you want to do when the market's a little bit slow. Get your stats out there, get your properties out there, and share everybody else's property, because it looks good on you too. So anyway, what we can do, if you're doing tenant placement, you can advertise rental property, show the rental property, receive tenants' applications, shortlist the applicants, prepare the lease or tenancy agreement on behalf of the owner, negotiate the rent and the terms of the lease for the tenancy agreement, collect the tenant's signature on the lease or tenancy agreement. Can you help a landlord find tenants? Advertise the property, show the rental property, receive well, we just did that, didn't we? What the heck are they trading? Oh, sorry, I think they're this is property management licensees, trading service licensees. That's the realtors. That's us. So we can do all of that. And then this is what we can't do, I think. Well, the property manager can do all the others. Can I help them find a property rent? Well, no, they can't. Because they're working, should be working for them. Rental property management services means any of the following services provided to you on behalf of an owner of real estate. Trading services in relation to the rental of the real estate. Can a prospective tenant find a property? Can I help a prospective tenant to help find a property? This is for trading services. You can show the property, prepare the lease, negotiate the rent, collect the tenant's signature on the lease, present the offer to rent the rental property. Property management licensee, can I collect rents from the tenant on behalf of the property owner? Yes. Rental property management service means any of the following services provided to on behalf of the owner. Collecting rents or security deposits for the use of the real estate. Can I collect rents from a tenant on behalf of property owner? This is trading service, so this is realtors. No, you can't do that. You can't collect rent. You can collect the deposit, but you can't collect the rent. If you collect rent, you're going to be doing property management. You're not licensed for it. And let me tell you guys, BCFSA is on the warpath right now. They're looking at everybody doing everything. They're looking at websites. They're looking at, any claims you make on your website, social media, that kind of thing. They're looking at all the nuts and bolts of what's going on and what everybody's doing out there. So be careful about BCFSA and your advertising, and make sure you have, again, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, Century 21 predominantly displayed on your websites and your social media. This is trading services licensees. Can I collect security deposits from the tenants on behalf of the owner? Yes, here's why. Just talked about that. Can I collect security deposits from tenants on behalf of the property owner? Rental property, well, of course they can. Looking for what we can't do. Trading services. Can I make payments on behalf of the property owner to third parties? No. So anything other than collecting the deposit and finding a property for the place, you can do. But anything further than that, no. You can't negotiate anything. If the tenant has a problem, you can't negotiate that if you sell the house and the guy says, hey, can you help me with this tenant? You can't really do anything there. You can't go as a go-between between them. even though you sold the house and whatever, put the tenant in there. That's not your job. You have to have a property manager's license for that. I'm just going to stop sharing that for a bit. I'll send that out to everybody. You can have a look at that if you're thinking about doing that. But always a good way to kind of expand your business. Look at getting your property management rental license. It's just writing an exam online. It's similar to the one you wrote there, but I don't think it's the full exam for the that we did for our license. It's about half of that or 70% of that. If you're thinking of doing that, go ahead. I would suggest that if you're a new realtor, you do the real estate first, learn how to do that before you take on property management. Otherwise, you're going to be split on what you're doing, and you're not going to be effective on what you're doing. You do a little bit of everything and not enough of one. So guys like you, Gavin and Amir, you've got some deals under your belt, and Robbie, if she's still here, and you might want to look at getting that license. It's going to take you probably 6 months to get it, but something to put in your back pocket. We have some part-time managers, property managers. Mike, we got, is it Renee? Who else we got that's kind of part-time on that?
Well, I don't consider Renee part-time. She's got a good book of business. We hold about 14 licenses of property management, and half are dual licensed.
For me, yeah. So something to think about, guys. If you want to expand your business, something to do. Mike, that's about all I got for today.
Okay, have a sip of that coffee. I think we did it. We did a good job today. The stats are out. We'll get Angeli to print out the neighborhood bricks for everybody to use. Back at You Media, make sure you go into your settings and you tick all the boxes so you're getting the free content from all our new listings that get posted. We will show how to upload those stats from the board so you have a page totally dedicated to the stats. I think that's brilliant. Thanks, Doug, for that find. That's fantastic. And everybody's got to work a little harder. That's the Kool-Aid you have to drink. Everybody's got to work a little harder, ask for help, and say please and thank you. That's the Canadian way. And we're living in a good place in Canada right now based on all the other shit that's going on. So I'm pretty happy being up here in the sun. So that's all I have to say, boys and girls. And if you need us, Doug or I, or any help from the staff, just give us a call. We're here every day. Okay, take care.
Thank you.
Adios. Happy birthday, Paul.